What's up? What's happening? Welcome in. It's the Hoffman Show. We're on the Team 980. We are always live as well on the free Odyssey app, and we have the NFL schedule release all day long here on the show. We have the about half the schedule probably so far that has been leaked, including a bunch of primetime games, including some more official news that has come out within the last hour, confirmation that the Commanders will be hosting Christmas Day against the Dallas Cowboys. If you are watching us on YouTube, we'll be updating this graphic as the day goes. But here's what we got so far right off the top of the show, and we will keep our eye on what is yet to come. First and foremost, they're going to open the season against the Giants, which, by the way, hilariously, Anthony Haney, came out last night. That got reported by, I believe it was Jordan Schultz. And it came out, or actually no, it was this morning it came out, and it was like right after you had texted me saying, or no, you texted me that, and then you just go, I guess our schedule is wrong, and it was right after I had put out a graphic on Instagram with our mock schedule on it, which also I put up our guests because our entertaining segment yesterday, not our terrible segment, one of the worst segments we've ever did yesterday. But I put up that segment on YouTube, and someone goes, hey, it says the Giants week 1 on their website. And I was like, buddy, it's a mock schedule. You know what a mock schedule is? But anyway, the Giants 1 o'clock, which I'm kind of surprised. Now, look, the Commanders are going to get their due when it comes to primetime and otherwise significant national recognition games. But they're opening, I guess, 1 o'clock against the Giants. Just a regular old Sunday 1 o'clock at Northwest Stadium.
Are you excited for it?
Kinda, because we ain't going to get a lot of 1 o'clock games, and you know how I am about routine and schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, this schedule was not made for me, which is fine. I'm excited. Look, I will take the disruption of my sleep pattern, a negative on my sleep hygiene, to have a really good football team that's exciting and playing important football. That's a hit I can take.
I will say playing the Giants early in the season, because last year we played them early in the season, and they gave us a scare. So I think that's the only thing that scares me about playing the Giants, because I don't think they're going to be good. But, week 1, week 2, week 3 are all games where you can, pull out things that, nobody's seen on tape yet.
Yeah, it's the healthiest version of them. We'll see who's playing quarterback, whether it's Jameis, whether it's Russ, whether it's Jackson Dart. Feels like it'll probably be Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson also beat the Commanders last year. It was also like the last team that he beat. He kind of fell off after that. But yeah, we'll see. Week 1's funky. And then they get right back on the horse. If you're going to play Thursday Night Football, I would much rather play it earlier in the season while you're still quasi-fresh. So you got the Giants 1 o'clock, and then week 2 at the Packers, 8:20 or 8 o'clock, whatever the Thursday Night Football start time is rumored to be week 2. I've seen something about the Raiders potentially week 3, which actually, Anthony, did we mock that one?
No, we didn't.
Did we get anything right?
No, we didn't.
Literally nothing that's been reported. I said they'd play on Christmas. We just had the opponent wrong.
Yeah.
So that's nice. So week 3 might be Vegas, might not be. The next one that I've got confirmed or is coming from a reliable source, this one I kind of have confirmed myself. The Bears, Monday Night Football at home, week 6, which is 1 week later than they typically play the Bears. It's been week 5 the last 2 years, 3 years. Here we go. Now they're going to play again, not on Thursday night, but on a Monday night rematch of the Hail Mary game at Northwest Stadium. 2 weeks later, they're back on Monday Night Football at Kansas City. Week 9, Sunday Night Football, Seahawks at home. So, hi, Sam Darnold. Week 11 is the Madrid game. We knew that. Week 13, Broncos Sunday Night Football. Week 15, Giants, 1 o'clock. Week 16, Eagles. That's the Saturday game that got announced. Time TBD. Week 17, Cowboys. That's Christmas Day, 1 o'clock on Netflix. So that we now have the full details on. It's a 1 o'clock game, and that is at home. So if you want to go to the game for Christmas, have a good time. And then we got the Eagles again week 18. I think this happened last year, Anthony, with the Lions and Vikings, that they didn't play until like the final 3 weeks of the regular season, and they played twice. I hate that.
Too.
Hate it. Hate it. Because the whole point of playing a team twice in a season, if you're the division, is like you're kind of getting to see, hey, what are these teams? What do they evolve to? And then are you seeing them at different points in the schedule? Because you might have different injury luck. You know, teams come together. They figure out new things. Teams solve for certain things. That causes teams to make adjustments. Twice in 3 weeks. What? No, NFL. Bad NFL. Don't do this. I'm all for cramming divisional games towards the end, and you are finishing December with all 4 division games, the way this has been reported out, at Giants, home Eagles, home Cowboys, at Eagles. But what? Just put the other Eagles game like week 5 or something. I hate having this crammed. That 2 of them, same opponent within 3 weeks. Even if you flop Eagles Giants and make it Eagles Giants Cowboys Eagles, that's better. This is dumb. I hate it.
I mean, I hate all the divisional games in the final month of the season, to be honest. We all know how physical those games are, and then you have to go into the playoffs after having tested the NFC East. I don't like it, Greg.
I get it because it opens the possibility that the division is up for grabs longer. What the NFL wants to happen for entertainment purposes, and I think you can make a competitive argument for this, is we want the division decided in week 18 if we can help it. So let's try to make it so those games are going to kind of count double. And if they're predicting who is going to be playing for the division, it's going to be the Commanders and the Eagles based off what happened last year. We know it never works out that way, but hopefully it does because I'm pretty sure the Eagles are going to be good, and I sure hope the Commanders are good again. And this opens up the possibility that, hey, week 16, Commanders at home, they get a win over Philadelphia. They can handle their business on Christmas against the Cowboys. And then week 18, you have a chance maybe to play Philly for the division at Philadelphia, and what the NFL certainly would put as Sunday Night Football if the division is truly on the line, head-to-head. I get it, but I don't like it. The other thing I don't like, and this one is in the Commanders' favor to an extent, is, depending on how you want to look at it, they go Eagles Saturday, and then Christmas this year is on a Friday, I believe. Does that sound right, Anthony?
Checking it right now. I think it's on a Thursday, though.
It's on a Thursday. You know, you're right. It's on Thursday.
Yeah.
So at least the Commanders go Saturday, Thursday, as opposed to Sunday, Thursday. But then they'll have the extra time to rest up for week 18 for what could be a really important game, or it could be a meaningless game. So that could be kind of silly by the end, but that's something to, I think, keep in mind as you look at this early version of the schedule. We're going to keep track of the leaks as they come in. We'll continue to update. Again, if you're watching us on YouTube today, we have a nice full-screen graphic with all of the games that we know so far. We're not putting them on until we get them from a source we trust or confirm them ourselves. And so we will continue to update you. We'll also talk to JP Finley about all of this, and we can take some of your calls as we go as well. 301-230-0980. What are you looking forward to? What are some stretches that you're like, oh, God, don't love that for Washington? There's already one of those emerging. We'll talk about that and a lot more with this schedule. And plus, we'll highlight some other key games from around the NFL as well as we go today on The Hoffman Show here on the Team 980. And always live as well on the free Odyssey app. It's Hoffman Show. We're on the Team 980, always live as well on the free Odyssey app. Streaming live on YouTube too at the Team 980. Here's the games that we have officially. I don't want to say officially. Some of these are official. Some of these are reported from reliable sources. There are a couple full schedule leaks out there. I haven't seen one from someone who I would say like, oh, that's a top flight, like if John Keim leaks the whole schedule, one, I'm sure his employer would be mad at him. Two, I would be like, okay, if JP's got the whole thing, but I'm not going to do it from random Twitter reports. It's got to be reporters piecing it together. And often these things come from other teams, right? So if all of a sudden a legit reporter who covers the Raiders somewhere else is like, yes, this Raiders game is actually week 3 as it's being reported at some places, then we'll throw it on our official graphic. But right now, we got Giants, Packers, weeks 1 and 2, with the Packers game being Thursday Night Football. Bears in week 6, at the Chiefs Sunday Night Football, against the Seahawks at the Chiefs Monday Night Football week 8. Week 9, Seahawks Sunday Night Football. Dolphins week 11 in Madrid. Then a Broncos Sunday Night Football in week 13. And then week 15, 16, 17, 18 is at Giants, home Eagles, home Cowboys, at Eagles. We'll get to the phones here in just a second, but I think it's worth pointing out, or worth highlighting how tough this schedule is going to be. And Anthony, I think yesterday we kind of talked about this a little bit, because just the nature of a second place schedule means, and with the divisions they're going to have to play, that going into the season with what we think of these teams now, it's inevitable you're going to have some really tough stretches. You're playing some of the best teams in football. You have an NFC North on your schedule that sent 3 teams to the playoffs last year. You have an AFC West on your schedule that also sent 3 teams to the playoffs last year. Your division is really tough for the defending Super Bowl champions and one other team that could be pretty good in the Cowboys, and the Giants are a wild card. It's a divisional game. And then you've got second-place teams scattered throughout as well. So I just think that we knew this is going to be difficult, but seeing some of the stacks of games and I think the pressure of playing, the lack of rhythm, you're going Monday Night Football week 6. We'll see what week 7 is. Monday Night Football again in week 8, and then Sunday Night Football week 9. 2 weeks later, you go to Madrid. 2 weeks after that, the rumor is the bye week is week 12. So you go Madrid, bye week, Sunday Night Football. There's a chance that if some of these games that are filling in the gaps there are 4 o'clock games, they might not play a 1 o'clock game for 2 months. That's really, really tough to do, just because for so many of these guys and these athletes, rhythm and routine is everything. Good luck getting rhythm and routine when that's your schedule, and that's what the Commanders are staring at. And then, by the way, the final 3 weeks of the season, it's a Saturday, a Thursday, and then whatever happens when you don't know going into week 18 on a Sunday.
Yeah, and I think we should have also just known how difficult this schedule was going to be. Just looking at the quarterbacks we're playing, we're playing a second-year quarterback in Bo Nix. We're playing Patrick Mahomes, multiple-time MVP. Who else we got? We got
Jordan Love. You got Caleb Williams. We'll see what he is in year 2.
Exactly.
Darnold coming off a career year. Tua, when he's healthy in that offense, is still pretty darn good. Darnold and Tua are not Patrick Mahomes, but you then got Jalen Hurts twice, you got Dak twice. What was that?
I said they have good coordinators over there. I mean, Miami, Mike McDaniel, one of the premier offensive coordinators in the game. So I'm just saying, what we're going to be tasked with just dealing with this season is just looking at it from a bird's eye view is dang, you guys have a tough schedule. And I guess that just what comes with the territory of, having the second place schedule and then also the divisions that we're facing.
I mean, this is the life if you're the Ravens, if you're the Chiefs, if you are the Eagles. This is what happens. And, it also lets us learn a lot of the schedule early, because these primetime games are the ones that tend to leak for whatever reason. But this is we knew it was going to be tough, but seeing it out. I mean, I feel like we learned this a little bit doing the mock schedule yesterday, but when you see it, and we still don't have on this schedule, the confirmed one, Justin Herbert, Michael Penix. He looked pretty okay at the end of last year. What if he's good in year 2? This is going to be tough. And I think we should be realistic about that. We should also be realistic about the fact that the Commanders, hopefully, are up for it, because they've earned this schedule by being real good. And it is funny to hear, to me, some of the national narratives, and they're split, right? It's not every national person's like, oh, I don't know what the Commanders are doing. Because I saw, was it Schrager, Anthony, that you sent me power rankings? Schrager's got him at 3 in the entire league.
Oh, no, that's Bucky Brooks.
Oh, there's Bucky Brooks. That's right. Bucky's got him as the 3rd best team in the entire league. And I don't think that's a ridiculous argument. I think that the Eagles are better. I think that the Ravens are better. I personally would probably still have the Chiefs above them. But if you tell me that some things fall off on the Chiefs and their offense just doesn't get it together and Mahomes is literally just dragging a bunch of dudes up and down the field. I mean, their offense wasn't good last year, and Kelsey's a year older, and they, how much did they really add in the offseason? Meanwhile, the Commanders were really good last year, and they added Laramie Tunsil. And if Laramie Tunsil is the best or, a top 5 left tackle, what does that do for the rest of their offensive line? If Connerly hits as a tackle or a guard and Coleman hits at the other one, or if those two are even solid, great. This offense, and that's not even saying like what happens with Debo and some of the other depth they've gotten defensively. I think they've gotten better, even if it's not much better. But it is kind of funny that people just kind of push them aside, and it's like, I don't know, they kind of made the NFC Championship. I'm like, they won 12 games last year. 12. I know they play 17 now, but that's hard to do. And then I find it hard to see how they're not a better team, but they also did certainly benefit from a easier schedule. They were nails in crunch time last year, and that seems unlikely to repeat at the level it did last year. But let's say they win 11 games this year, come second in the NFC East and are the 6th seed. Do you think anybody wants to see them in the playoffs? No way. No way. And the other thing about it is with Jaden Daniels, people I think can get a little out over their skis just assuming that he's going to have some linear trajectory up. And I'm not saying he's going to have a CJ Stroud down year, because I don't think the infrastructure around Jaden is going to crumble in the way it did around CJ Stroud. But I do think it's worth saying that if Jaden is merely just as good as he was last year, only just as good as he was last year, that's like a top 5 MVP type of season. I don't think he got the as much as he got the love he deserved as a rookie, I don't think he got the love he deserved as a player in some circles last year. I don't understand how he wasn't a top 5 MVP finisher, which I don't think he was by the end of it. I think he finished 6th or 7th probably. I have to go back and look at the voting. But, yes, this is hard. But I think Dan Quinn will be really good at rallying the troops, and I think that they'll be ready for it as much as you possibly can be.
To be honest, I don't even think they need to be rallied. I think they're already, ready for the test. And we saw it last year in the playoffs. The Bucks, the Lions, they didn't blink when it came to facing these teams. And you bring in a guy like Debo who's used to having a first place schedule, playing the top teams, haven't gone to Super Bowls, haven't gone on super long playoff runs. You bring a guy like him into the building. You bring a guy like Laramie Tunsil who's also played in these high stakes games, and then you also have Jaden Daniels who he doesn't blink. He wants all the smoke. So I think these guys are definitely going to be ready for this moment. And, with Jaden, leading the cavalry, I think, we always have a chance. John Allen spoke about it last year. You got 5 back there, you always have a chance. So I think the Commanders, even though it is going to be tough, I think these guys are going to, be willing to, battle tooth and nail in order to, stack up some wins and, just build on what they started last year in terms of, being a consistent winner in the NFC East for years to come.
Yeah, they've got, this is what their schedule is going to hopefully look like for years to come. But the thing is, when you are the best, you play the best, but then you beat them. Yep. That's what the Ravens have done. Obviously, they haven't won a Super Bowl, but that's what the Chiefs have done. You figure out how to win the big ones, and the Eagles have done it. And this is the life now. Welcome. It's fun. So you're in the heavyweight division.
It's unfamiliar territory, but it's good territory.
Yeah. Hopefully we can stay here this time.
No, for real.
Because I think a lot of people probably felt this way in 2012 too, and then by 2013 it's oh, hello again, old friends at the bottom of the league. Hello, top of the draft. Oh, wait, we don't have any draft picks. At least if it bottoms out this time, you have all your draft picks. No, I don't hear. Nope. We're just gonna keep it moving, Anthony.
No, we do. No, I was in agreement.
Let's hope that that's the last time anyone ever thinks of me saying that. I just felt like I jinxed it. By the way, Jaden Daniels finished 7th in the MVP voting last year. Ridiculous. Should have been 5th. Anyway, when we get back here on the Hoffman Show, we'll update you on any other games that have leaked. Yes, I see YouTube chat. Some people who I do not feel comfortable fully quoting have released full schedules. We're going to wait till we get more reliable reports. So we are awaiting to fill in more of the games. If you want to go find leaks that may be wrong, then go on the internet. You can find anything you want there. 301-230-0980 is the phone number, 301-230-0980. That is where you call us with your thoughts on the Commanders' schedule, both the difficulty and some games you're looking forward to that have leaked so far. 301-230-0980. Your calls next. 301-230-0980 is the phone number. 301-230-0980. It's the Hoffman Show. We're on the Team 980. We're always live as well on the free Odyssey app, streaming live on YouTube at the Team 982. We will continue to have our live coverage all day long of the Commanders' regular season schedule leaking. There are some full leaks out there. Just haven't been able to confirm all of them yet. But what we know so far, Giants week 1, Packers week 2, Thursday Night Football. Giants are home, Packers on the road. Hosting the Bears on Monday Night Football in week 6. At the Chiefs Monday Night Football week 8. Hosting the Seahawks the next week 9. On Sunday night, week 11, of course, the Dolphins in Madrid. Broncos week 13 at home, Sunday Night Football. So that's 2 home Sunday nighters, 1 home Monday nighter. And then at Giants week 15, Eagles on Saturday in week 16, Cowboys on Christmas Day, 1 o'clock, week 17, and then at the Eagles in week 18. Of course, we're also awaiting tonight, Anthony. One, we're awaiting phone calls. Just we had some, and I don't know where they went. But people can call in, 301-230-0980. We're also awaiting tonight the schedule release videos.
Yeah. Those are going to be good.
Because
who usually has a pretty good video? I think Atlanta had one last year.
They're actually doing a feature on it right now on ESPN. The GOAT of all GOATs is probably the 2023 Titans video. The first time they went out on Broadway in Nashville and just interviewed drunk people.
Yeah, that was fun.
And held up, hey, what's this team? So that one was good. The Chargers are always the other one that
I think the Chargers, did they do the Sims last year?
They do the anime one. And there's always a million inside jokes. I always need an explainer video to make sure I don't miss some of the jokes. Because they pack so many into the 2020 or into the schedule release every single year.
They're usually pretty good. I'm definitely looking forward to the Chargers. Last year, Sims actually took the cake for me. I thought they had the best video, for sure.
What have the Commanders done? They done anything really good?
Not that I can recall.
Nothing that stands out.
Yeah.
So, I have to.
This isn't a shot at them either, but
No. Hey, we're just Josh Harris era. There's upgrades. I'm sure there's new stuff that'll be fun this year. I do feel like they had a couple good ones, even in the bad times.
Probably.
But it's in many ways today is the Super Bowl for social media departments across the league. So we'll keep our eye on the interwebs if we see anything good. Also, remember tonight here on the Team 980, Linnell's got the full NFL schedule release show. It starts at 7 o'clock, so the official schedule comes out in hour 2 of that. We'll see if we have the full thing by then and if it's been confirmed, but we will have the full schedule and full reaction with Linnell tonight, 7 to 10 p.m. here on the Team 980, live and local, following us. All right, let's get into a couple of other things, and one that is Commanders adjacent that we have been sitting on for a couple of days. The Pivot Podcast has been a place that all kinds of people go to talk, and they do a really good job. It's Ryan Clark, it is Fred Taylor, it's Channing Crowder. Ryan is obviously well known from ESPN, and he's kind of the leader of that show. And they wanted to do a Mother's Day special. And they did said Mother's Day special with Regina Jackson, who is Jaden Daniels' mother. And the clip that got a lot of coverage was this one about Jaden's dating life and whether or not Regina Jackson, his mother, is perhaps being an inhibitor to that based off some clips that went viral over the summer.
Being the good woman you are, also raising a daughter, why have you been so diligent about protecting Jaden from the wrong woman?
So first and foremost, I have a meme out there, and it's funny. So I can't laugh. I can only laugh about it. But the whole girls comment was made, first of all, 2 years when he was at LSU. And It was a question asked, like, what is your biggest fear? And that should be every parent's biggest fear. If you're a star athlete and you're a female in WNBA, that should be your biggest fear is, the men or, the women, because you're a public figure. Your dollar amount is associated with your name. So you never know who really is there for you and who's really against you. Our thing is like, I want Jaden to date. I don't want everybody to say I'm putting it on record. My son can date. He can live freely, makes his own decisions. However, the relationship we have, he does value my opinion because, when my kids were little, I did a lot for them. So, and my kids saw that. My father, my background, I worked too hard to allow anybody at any moment to come in and just, take it away.
So, the initial clip that she's talking about is part of the Amazon Prime series, The Money Game, which was a documentary, or a docu-series on a couple of different athletes at LSU. Jaden Johnson, the women's basketball player who's still there. Livy Dunn, the gymnast, who is more famous probably as a TikTok star than a gymnast. And Angel Reese, who everyone knows who Angel Reese is. And the series is excellent. It was very well done. It got into a lot of really serious stuff. It got into a lot of the complications of NIL. It got into kind of the wild, wild west that is NIL. And there's also one of the LSU track stars was featured, and she is like an Olympic caliber hurdler, and she's having all kinds of trouble getting NIL stuff. So we had it from like the Jadens and the Angels, who are some of the highest earners in the sport. Livy, who I think is the highest earner in college sports in terms of NIL and brand deals. And it also has the other end of the spectrum, all at one school, and how the school gets involved in all of these things. And amidst that context, Jaden's mom is asked, like, hey, what's your biggest concern? And she goes, girls. And you're first, of course, caught off guard. But, Anthony, within the context of the conversation and in the context of that documentary, it actually makes a lot of sense. We were like, yeah, you don't want, some girl coming in for the wrong reasons. And the same thing, by the way, if you're Angel Reese, you don't want some guy coming in being like, oh, I'm going to live off Angel's money. Like, you don't want that. And, later in Regina Jackson's answer, it's a longer version of that answer. She says that exact thing. She's like, if you're a girl and you don't want the wrong guys, girls, whatever, like she doesn't discriminate. However it is that's coming in for the wrong reason, she doesn't want you there. If you're the athlete, and she understands that. And I think parts of this interview get chunked out, and then people kind of think what they already think. They use it as confirmation bias. And I listened to the entire thing. I listened to the 45 minutes. I thought it was really interesting. I think there's some things in there that I could quibble with. But like on the whole, like Regina Jackson is a woman who has multiple master's degrees, is highly educated, knows what she's doing, is doing this for her son only. She is not trying at this point to work with other people and start her own business and her own brand as a marketing agent. It's something she wants to do in the future, but she talks about, I can't do it right now. She still has her regular full-time job doing whatever her full-time job is because she doesn't want to lose who she is as a person and just be Jaden Daniels' mom/business manager. She doesn't want that to become her whole personality, if you will. And in many ways, it actually reminded me of the conversation we had around, or the conversations we have around Dan Snyder and Josh Harris, where do I want, if I'm an organization, if I'm a fan, if I'm whatever, do I want every athlete's mom or dad or whoever hanging around and being involved in stuff? No, not really. I want to deal with you as a professional. I don't want to deal with your family. But if someone's got a money manager, a marketing manager, a business manager, and you're doing those kinds of things with the athlete, you understand that that's part of the equation. In the modern sports world, athletes are businesses to themselves. And so if you have someone's mom who is properly trained as a business manager and has her MBA, that's fine with me. That's fine with me. And I think some people have a real problem with that because they see it in the same way that, maybe RG3's dad was getting involved with like football decisions. That's not what's happening here. This is a highly trained, highly educated person who has opinions based off of that and is highly protective of her son, who's also her client. and also on certain other things has opinions as a mom, just as any mom has. It's just that hers get put out in the public light because her son is a public figure.
Yeah, I mean, I think the RG3, RG2 comparison is what I was going to get at. I think people fear that, she's going to try to have that kind of control and, impact on the organization. And first of all, that's not her intent. And then also,
she doesn't touch football, bro.
I think that RG3 situation was just, I don't know. It was
messed up in so many ways. I mean, in part because of Dan Snyder. Like, forget can make, if Regina Jackson is Josh Harris and RG2 is Dan Snyder and like the analogies, you also have Josh Harris in charge of this organization and Dan Quinn, who's like, Jaden, you're going to earn the starting job, versus Dan Snyder saying that's our starting quarterback and yeah, we're all in for week 1 and like all that stuff. And that's the thing is like Regina Jackson is like, my son's job, Jaden's job is to play football at a high level. I'm going to be protective of things that don't allow him to do that. I'm going to take care of it. And the other thing she said I thought was great was like, they have a team. It's not just her. And in fact, one of the controversies that came up recently with like Jaden's dating life is like they were out and it was Jaden, Regina, and like one of the other people on the team who was a younger woman. And, people thought that it was like a weird interaction or something. And Regina was like, yeah, that was our marketing assistant. So like that was another professional who was with us. So like people can buzz off and like respect. She doesn't manage everything. She has a professional operation. And so I thought the interview was worth people's time. Not that I 100% am like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I would want if I was Dan Quinn or Josh Harris or whatever. But like, that's business. Not everything is going to work out always. And I think there's some ways where maybe she is making decisions or involved or whatever that might not be the way I would act as a parent. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like my way is 100% correct and that her way is like, red flags, danger, another entitled athlete with parents that are going to mess it all up. Like, that's not my read on this situation at all. And that's why I wanted to, before I commented on it and commented on a clip that was going viral or, didn't have the context of the full conversation, why I didn't necessarily want to talk about it beforehand. Let's keep this going next, and plus we'll get more calls on the schedule. 301-230-0980. A couple more clips from this interview before we talk to JP Finley coming up at 5 o'clock. JP Finley coming up in 10 minutes here on the Team 980. We'll get his thoughts on the Commanders' schedule. I'm curious, Anthony, because for him, this is also a huge personal day because, I mean, to an extent it is for me, but I don't travel anymore like I used to when I was on the beat. For him, he's probably booking some flights today.
Yeah, he has to.
You got to figure out, hey, where am I going? Going to all the games? Okay, cool. Let's get some travel booked. Where are we going?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be jealous of JP in Madrid though. That's dope.
We should go.
See, I wish I could go, but I'm already taking time off to go to Paris and Spain in July.
This is the thing. If we go, we're not taking time off.
I mean, I like the way you think, sir.
Mm-hmm. Now, will the company pay for it? Probably not. But if we were there and we're not taking time off, like, okay, it probably still costs the company money because they'd have to pay for someone to sit here and do your job.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think.
How long is that flight, Craig?
It's a great question. Well,
10 hours?
Flights.google.com. We're going from Washington, D.C. to Madrid, Spain. We're going in November. I don't know why I'm putting this in like I'm actually going on flights. Let's say we leave on Wednesday. We come back on Monday. That probably is a problem for the show, but we can figure that out later. Just fresh off the plane, jet lagged as hell. Hey guys, welcome to the Hoffman Show. That's got to stop. Let's see. That's got to stop.
I see 7 hours, 50 minutes.
I don't see. Do you see a direct?
Yeah, nonstop.
Where? What airline?
We're
helping people shop right now.
Questions.
We're helping people shop right now. Let's see. Fly from Philadelphia. Fly from Newark. I don't see any from Washington, D.C. None.
No. It is an expensive flight, though. I will tell you that.
It's not if you take this says round trip from $440.
Whoa.
With a stop in Lisbon, Portugal. Or you can stop in Boston for $487. That's probably an economy rate. Not ideal. Because you want to be able to like bring a bag. You're going for a hot second. But yeah, we can figure it out. I mean, from Boston, it's 7 hours overnight flight.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah. But
That's not
overnight
bad.
flight, that's not too bad.
Nah. Especially because knowing me, I'm sleep the entire flight.
Say, are you a flight sleeper? That was gonna be my next
Yes.
question.
I'm sleep the entire time.
Are you the type of flight sleeper like I am sometimes, where you are out like on the runway?
Yes.
Have you
there been
ever
several times.
fallen asleep on the runway, woken up, and been like, "Son of a gun, we haven't even left yet"?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the worst.
It's scary, actually.
You're like, dang, how long was I out? Then you're like, oh, it was only 5 minutes. If you're out for like 40 minutes and you haven't left yet, like that sucks.
Yeah.
That's too much. That's too much. Now I feel like it'd be silly if we went back to more of the sound bites. What other Anthony? We need to do our road trip draft. I guess that's tomorrow on the show. Anthony and I pick games that we want to go to on the road trip. Is there anybody remotely in contention to be the number one pick besides the Madrid game? Are we going to have a fist fight in the hallway before the show to go over the number one pick?
I'm not gonna lie. The games that have been leaked aren't.
I mean, we still know all the games. We just don't know the order. Which some of them it matters. Like, I'm more likely to want to go to Minnesota in the fall than I am the winter.
Yeah.
Even though the stadium's indoors, like, I want to go to Minnesota in December. And one of the leaked versions of the schedule has that as week 14. That's going to be cold.
I really want to see what Arrowhead is like, but that's right before the Dolphins.
No, it's not. It's week 8, not week 10.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, the rumor is that it'll be the Lions week 10 at home, which, whew. Hey boys, lick your wounds, get on the plane. We're going to Spain.
Yeah, that's tough. That's brutal.
Yeah. I mean, Lambeau would be pretty sweet. Week 2. I didn't want to go there for the draft. I do want to go there for a game.
For Thursday Night Football?
I mean,
Is that
sure.
on Thursday?
Yeah, it is Thursday. Could be fun. If you could, okay, serious question. Madrid's not on the table. If we could take the show on the road for any game, what would it be?
Chiefs.
You go Chiefs at Arrowhead. That's a good pick. I'm a little biased against that because I used to live in Lawrence, Kansas, and thus have been to Arrowhead multiple times. But it is sick, and I do think it's a great choice.
I think there's gonna be a lot of game hype. Jaden, Mahomes, like woo.
Yeah, for sure. I would also say Packers. Packers would probably be the other one. That would probably be the other one.
What city is Oh, it's Green Bay.
Yeah.
That was a bad question.
Yeah, it was. But you have to fly.
I mean, it sort of kind of was.
Fly into Milwaukee and do the drive.
Yeah.
Or fly into Green Bay with a connection. So, see about that. Someone who's actually going to the games. JP Finley joins us next. It's the Hoffman Show. We're on the Team 980, always live as well on the free Odyssey app, streaming live on YouTube too, at the Team 980. Schedule release day in the NFL. We got a show tonight on the Team 980 with all of the details. Leno Willingham anchoring at 7 o'clock following us, so make sure you stay tuned for that or tune back in for that. This evening, we talk about it now, though, with someone who will be at all of the games. It's time for Not My Beat.
Today's top story from the perspective of someone who's there.
You are looking live.
This just in.
Not My Beat.
JP Findley's also got a live show tonight on YouTube for NBC4. It is the All Ears show. JP is with us now. What's up, dude? How are you?
I am great. So I was listening to that drop you guys played with Anthony wanting to go to a bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
It sounds like he said Bart mitzvah.
It kind of does sound like that. Anthony, would you like to defend yourself?
It's a fart mitzvah? What?
Bart. Like you
yeah.
put a T at the end.
Oh, no. I thought it was bar mitzvah.
It is, it sounds like you said Bart mitzvah.
Let me go listen back.
All right, you report that when
know.
we get back to the end of the interview. If I haven't forgotten, we will circle back to that. There's about a 50-50 shot, but that's also the kind of thing that my dumbass does remember, as opposed to the important things in life. JP. JP, we knew Madrid, we knew Eagles Week 16 when we woke up this morning. We've now learned Eagles Week 18 again. We've learned 5 total primetime games, 3 more featured games, including the Madrid game and Cowboys at home on Christmas. What are your early impressions of how this Commanders schedule is stacking up?
We already knew the opponents, right? So we knew it's a difficult slate. Just playing the AFC West is the best division in the AFC, I would say. And then the NFC, it's a toss-up between the best division between the NFC East and the NFC North. And Washington had to play the NFC North. So, in addition to the East, obviously. So, we already knew it was a difficult schedule, that you're going to face some really good teams and some teams that have historically performed well. That said, I don't think, people like to figure out when they got screwed. I don't really think they got screwed. Do they have some back-to-back roadies? Yes, but none of it is that outrageous. Atlanta and LA, not that bad. You're going to Madrid, but then you get the bye week. First time they've had their bye week in not December in 4 years. The meat grinder to me really comes at the end of the year when you close the season with 4 straight, 2 of the final 3 against the defending Super Bowl champions. If you accept the fact that we already knew how much better this schedule was, you're facing 7 teams that made the playoffs last year, and one of those teams you're playing twice, and they're the defending Super Bowl champs. It's a tough slate, but I think it's, I don't want to say advantageous, but there's a lot of nights, there's a lot of national television windows, but to me, I think it's pretty fair.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. I don't know what the right word is. It's eye-opening. That's the correct phrase. When you see it on paper. And Anthony and I did a terrible attempt at a mock schedule yesterday. How Sheehan does it every year. I'm like, what? We're never doing this again. But when you finally get the games out on paper, you're like, damn, there's no way to organize these where you get any kind of break because of the opponents, like you said. That said, JP, I despise the close of 2 and 3 against the Eagles. To me, I think divisional games should just be spread out more. What are your thoughts on how the NFL is handling that? Because they've kind of dipped their toe in this water in the past. I think the Vikings and Lions wound up doing this last year. Do you like that for the excitement that it can bring, the potential 2-game swing late in the season in a division, or is it just too much, too concentrated for you?
It wasn't that long ago that Washington played the Giants twice in 3 weeks with a bye week in between. Now, that wasn't the last 3 games of the year, but it was late in the year. I think I like backloading division games to end the year. I don't know that I like 2 out of 3 against Philly. I think, if you tell me that the final 3 games are going to be division games, I'm cool with that. I'd like the other 3 spread out throughout the year. I mean, for them to go 4 straight division, 2 out of them, 2 of the last 3 against Philly, that's crazy. I also like, there's no like guarantees in sports, and so we could get to late December and. Dude, 2 years ago, Philly lost 6 of their last 7 and bombed out of the playoffs. Like, these games that everyone's assuming could be so excellent could be something else entirely, or they could just be excellent. Who knows? If I had to pick, to me, like a toughest stretch is 2 Monday nights in 3 weeks with a trip to Dallas sandwiched in between. You can get on the short week bus if you want, but then they get the day on the way back. They play at Kansas City on a Monday. Then they have a Seattle home game. That's another prime time. But it's hard to look past that December run. Once they get into December and it's at Minnesota, at the Giants, then Philly, Dallas, at Philly. That is pretty difficult. But, I think we knew the teams they were playing were going to be difficult. I don't think they got particularly a rough route by the where and whens.
JP Finley with us here on the Hoffman Show. I also, you know the show, JP. I like to personalize things for the guests. Like, what for you today? What's it like to finally know what your fall is going to look like? Like, are you booking travel today? Are you have to wait till the fall? Like, how's it to know for you? Like, okay, this is what my September through January looks like.
So I have booked a couple things already. I'll be honest, here at Channel 4. So when I'm traveling, it's for NBC4 and Money Metal some. But the question, the Madrid game's obviously a big question. And the way NBC operates, they just like to really go all in on big events. So the only debate for us is when we want to go, and we're waiting to kind of find out when the Commanders will go. You know what I did book, and you'll appreciate this as a guy. I know the segment's not my beat, but you were on the beat for a while.
That's the whole joke, is that none of this is my responsibility anymore. Once upon a time it was. Now I just sit here and let you guys do it.
I get it. Well, dude, so what people that work in football know is it's impossible to stay in Green Bay. You end up staying in Appleton or Sheboygan or even in Milwaukee and just driving up. But I may have been privy to some information earlier, and I actually was able to book a hotel in Green Bay.
Wow.
So I am really stoked about that. We're going to get to do – so I do All Ears every Wednesday night, the TV show, and we'll get to do that live in Green Bay on Wednesday night with, Lambeau Field behind me, which will just be a really cool visual. But by far, personally, my biggest concern – was the Christmas game. I have young children. I didn't want to be on the road for Christmas. And especially Christmas mornings I got a 6-year-old and, Christmas morning matters a lot. So there's a huge sigh of relief to know I'll be home for that.
That's good. Yeah.
And I think I know there are split feelings on this, and I can completely understand. And I offer compassion to the folks that are really upset about the Christmas game, that they want that to be a day dedicated to family or faith or whatever. I understand your point of view, but to me, I think it's awesome they're playing on Christmas. I think families will get together and watch it, and I think a lot of families will go to that game together. So I think the Christmas thing is really fun, and the math of it would suggest that eventually I'll have to cover in a way Christmas game, but at least now I know it'll at least at the earliest be a year away, maybe more. And by then my kids are a little older, probably will care a little less if dad's not home. So all in all, I think it's pretty strong.
Yeah, no, I think it's a fun schedule to kind of piece together and look at, and I've seen now the full thing on ProGrid, which is pretty reliable. So you might have heard JP reference a few games that we've hinted at but haven't officially put on the graphic yet. We'll get the whole graphic updated for those watching on YouTube and get the full schedule out. I mean, ProGrid's that's the first place I've seen it that I'm like, okay, I trust that, we're good. Folks obviously knew though the Christmas game. I don't know. I'm mixed on the Christmas thing just conceptually. I'm not really a huge fan. I think the NFL has taken over everything, and I'm like, it's okay to leave some stuff for other people. The NBA has always been a Christmas Day thing. It's their tradition. Now the NFL comes in. And I also think that football is a game that benefits from having the full week of game planning, the full week to let these guys' bodies recover. And the fact that these games are happening on Christmas conceptually, I don't agree with. But if they're going to happen, like, I think it's a good thing, obviously, to be in the mix and be like, oh, we're one of the teams, or the team that I care about is one of the teams that the NFL also cares about, because that means you're good. And ultimately, like, that to me is the biggest thing with all of this, is when you got all these things, and I do want to talk about the football repercussions in a second, but ultimately, like, the league is telling us from the league office standpoint, they think the Commanders are going to be good and interesting. And if they're right, I think we're in for a really, really fun ride this year.
Totally. You're 100% right. I mean, there's not a single Sunday 1 o'clock in October or November. Like, that's pretty telling of what they think for Washington. Specific to Christmas and the NBA and the NFL taking it over, I think a few things there. I think, like, even in the old days, there still would have been a game Christmas night because it was a Thursday night, and that's when they have games. And a lot of this stemmed from when Christmas was on a Saturday or Sunday, where the NFL is going to have games. And this will probably kick off a whole fight between you and I, because I love watching NBA playoff basketball so much. Every game is appointment viewing for me. But, like, the load management BS and the lack of, like, effort and excitement in NBA regular season games, I think is a big reason why the NFL was able to just take over Christmas. Because those games when I was a kid was MJ, and it was like absolute, like, could not miss it. And those games, they went to 5 games? That noon game on Christmas Day is the least amount of effort or hustle, like, in history. So I think some of that's the NBA's own fault.
No, I think that's good. I think it's a good point, and I actually am not going to argue with you on this. Like, the people who are like, the NBA basketball stinks. I'm like, no, like, it's not, doesn't stink. It's not as nearly as good as the playoffs, because the level they play at the playoffs is unsustainable for the regular season. But that's also a reason for me, and I actually talked about this on the show yesterday in lieu of the Jason Tatum injury. The NBA needs fewer games in its regular season. Like, you can create scarcity and urgency, and you can make up some of the money by enhancing the percent of games that are on national television, because that's where the real money is. Like, there are ways to try to make up some of the finances here. And if you stem losses at the league level, like, you're going to have a bigger pot of money in general. But also, like, it's funny because I think now the game is viewed as soft. And yes, you can't go murder someone in the lane like you could in 1991, but the level of movement and the amount of ground guys cover and the intellectual demands are so much higher now, because the offenses and defenses are more complex, and they're still playing 82 games. And it's like, this is why the playoffs are just a survival game every year. And you see someone like Tatum go down, who's played 100 games a season, like 4 years in a row. And you're like, yeah, no kidding. And so I actually agree with you that, frankly, both leagues could use
That's
creating a little bit scarcity.
If hockey guys can go 82, NBA guys can go 82.
Yeah, it's different though. Like, I'm not going to tell you that, like, hockey's not a tougher sport, like, in terms of the physicality, but I think the constant running and jumping versus, like, guys skate into their and like play hockey into their late 30s on the regular, because you don't have to jump.
Somebody told me working one of these cash games, which is really interesting, is a lot of times guys will limp when they're walking, like bad ankle, bad knee, whatever, but in their skates, because the motion is generally like hips and quads, that they can skate fine and barely be able to walk. Just kind of, we're way off on a tangent, but interesting.
You on this show, and we go off on a tangent. Whoever could have thought? JP Finley's with us here on the Hoffman Show. All right, I'll bring it back to the football. And, talking about, like, the way athletes are in each sport. Like, NFL guys, many of them are extraordinarily routine driven. And I think last year, we heard about this a ton with Jaden, but specifically when they went on the road to Arizona and how he was able to adapt his routine. How do you think that the team and some of the individual key players handle the fact that there is going to be no routine in this season? It is going to be disjointed. The schedule is never going to feel rhythmic. Like, what kind of football impact do you think that has on this club?
It's a great question. I think it helps a lot that Dan Quinn was used to Dallas, where, I mean, Whether they should be or not is a different discussion, but Dallas is constantly in prime time and moving games around. Not a lot of Sunday 1 o'clocks for the Cowboys. So, and DQ coming from that, I think they can structure everything just fine. I also think it helps to kind of have that first Thursday game early on. Like from a straight up rest standpoint, you get the first Thursday in week 2. So then you kind of get that mini bye after that, and you've got a home game against the Raiders. Then you get your actual bye week in the middle of the season rather than in December. I think there are some real rest points in there. Clearly, there's some stretches that are going to be difficult at Dallas, at Kansas City, but at least you get an extra day. Will it be like the formula, the timeline, the schedule, the calendar that players and frankly media and everybody are so used to? This will definitely be disrupted from that, but that's not. You said it very well. It means they're good. It means the league considers them good and a major draw, and that's why it's going to look like this. And I think people just got to accept that.
Yeah, it's on Dan Quinn and the staff to make sure that they have what they need in place and make smart scheduling decisions about practices and times. And these guys are smart, and they leave everything or they leave no stone unturned. But the alternative is you suck and you get to play at 1 o'clock every week. So,
right, exactly.
I'd rather be good and have Jaden Daniels and have a top, 8 quarterback, maybe top 5 quarterback in the league, and have to figure out what to do with my practice schedule, then figure out what to do under center and be, I don't know, the New York Giants.
Right. Like, I bet the Jaguars and the Panthers have a bunch of Sunday 1 o'clock games, but I bet their fans would rather be Washington.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, last thing, JP. We, on the day after schedule release every year, do a road trip draft. The obvious number 1 pick this year is Madrid. So if I take Madrid off the table, I'm guessing Lambeau? You already said how excited you are for that. Is that the number 1 pick in the road trip draft on JP Finley's board?
Well, Lambeau would be up there. I mean, just covering games at Lambeau is so cool. I've gotten to do it a couple times, though. But, Hoff, I was just made aware of something that I don't know that I'll be able to pull off, but I sure as hell am going to try to pull it off. I don't know if this game is out yet. Do people know when the Falcons game is?
It's week 4 is what has been reported.
Right. Okay. So Washington plays at Atlanta week 4.
Mm-hmm.
Bama plays at Georgia. So that is the Commanders Falcons is September 28th. Bama's playing Georgia in Georgia September 27th. So I am pushing some cards around trying to get a ticket to that Bama Georgia game. In which case, if I can pull that off, that becomes my 1 seat of road trips this fall.
See, that's the thinking man's thing right there. See, Anthony, we're gonna have to do more prep for our road trip draft to see if there's other stuff that we can fit in, because that is a vet move from JP Finley. That is showing us how it's done.
Yeah, I gotta update the calendar then.
Yeah. Also, Anthony, how do you say what happens when a young Jewish man gets to 13 years old?
Let's
what happens
together.
Okay.
Phil Bart.
That certainly sounds like there's a T at the end.
I think JP was right.
Yeah, I think you might have.
You said like Bart Simpson, Bart Mitzvah.
Phil Bart Mitzvah.
That should be a Simpsons episode. Like, how has that not happened in the history of that show? How has there not been the Bart Mitzvah?
I think JP was listening very attentively.
Yeah.
I got a lot. I got big ears. Ant. What do you
hey, look. Apparently, you're all ears.
That's
yeah,
what
man.
we
You're
brought
right.
it all full circle. All right, all ears tonight, 8:30 on NBC4's YouTube page. JP.
Yes, sir. Yes,
all right,
sir.
and then of course JP with B Mitch tomorrow. Although B Mitch has been out. Is it you and Toby again tomorrow? And why is Russell complaining on your show?
Dude, I love bringing Russell on there to complain. Even though some of what he's saying is warranted, it's the ultimate just media curmudgeon. You know what I'm saying? And it makes me laugh.
It does.
Yeah, B's out in Seattle on a golf trip. a well-earned vacation.
Nice. All right. So JP tomorrow with Toby Altizer. Maybe Russell will be complaining there. Well, you have to tune in to find out. 10 a.m. and all ears tonight on NBC4's YouTube page. Also, if you want to see him on television, tune in to NBC4 at the bottom of the hour, 5:30. JP, appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, dude. Later.
JP Finley with us here on the Hoffman Show. When we get back, let's do it, Anthony. Let's unveil the entire Commanders 2025 schedule, and then we will react to that, take your calls to some of the games that you want to go see. Coming up later on in the show as well, why Josh Connerly at guard isn't as crazy as you might think, straight from the mouth and education of Logan Paulson. And then also our Mystics interviews continue. 6:30 today, you'll hear from third overall pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, Sonia Citron. It's the Hoffman Show. We're on the Team 980. We're always live as well on the free Odyssey app, streaming live on YouTube too at the Team 980, where I will show you now, if you have not seen it yet, the Commanders' full schedule for 2025. This is from ProGrid, which is a pretty reliable source. They're like the schedule nerd site for schedule nerds. So here we go. Read and weep. You ready to go, Anthony?
Yes, sir.
All right. Giants week 1. That one we knew from Jordan Schultz this morning. Presumably a 1 p.m. kickoff there. Week 2 at the Packers, Thursday Night Football. That one we know for sure. Here's the first new game. And first, the next 3 are all new if you've just been listening to us today and haven't been searching and gallivanting around internet comment sections and such to find these things. Raiders. That is a home game. That could be 1. That could be 4. They are at the Falcons week 4. That one could be 1 or 4. Week 5 at the Chargers. That's going to be a 4 o'clock game because it's in L.A. Week 6 confirmed 100% is happening against the Bears. That is, of course, that is a Monday night game. Week 7 at Dallas. That could be a 1 or a 4. Probably going to be a 4, but that's not a primetime game. The Chiefs, Monday night, week 8. Dallas to Kansas City is a really short flight. I think they'll come back in between, especially with the Monday night being Monday night. If that Monday nighter was first, I actually wonder if they would find a place to train in Dallas or something like that and then fly over. It's not quite the Arizona bit they did last year, but that is kind of a quick turnaround going Monday night into Dallas, and then you have at least the extra day to get ready for Kansas City. And then you got an extra day of waiting on Sunday because you go from Monday night to Sunday night. So 3 of 4 are going to be primetime games. Week 6, Bears home Monday. Week 8, Chiefs Monday on the road. Week 9, home against Seattle on Sunday Night Football. Then, really good chance you're at 4 o'clock again, but not official yet. Week 10, Detroit at home. The Dolphins in Madrid to follow that. So, you get to play Detroit, super physical rematch of last year's NFC divisional round game. Then, hey boys, get on the plane. We're going to Spain. And then the good news is maybe, Anthony, here's a call back to yesterday. Maybe on Monday, they'll just stay in Madrid a little bit extra, let the boys have some fun, and then maybe they'll take a siesta.
I know what that is.
You do know what a siesta is.
It's a nap.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, look, I'm proficient in Spanish.
See.
Just
that one slipped right by you yesterday.
No, I did.
All right. Week 12, bye. Week 13, Broncos, Sunday Night Football at home. Week 14 on the road at Minnesota. That could certainly be a 1 or a 4. Week 15 at the Giants. Week 16, home Eagles on a Saturday. Week 17, Cowboys at home. Week 18 at Eagles, time TBD. That Week 17 game against the Cowboys, that's Christmas Day, 1 o'clock on Netflix. So the good news from a travel standpoint, Anthony, is your first road trip is a Thursday night at Green Bay. That's tough. But if you're going to have it, week 2 is about the best time you can do it. You're still relatively fresh. It's early on in the season. So you have that. But, getting Green Bay is the hardest place to get to in the league. Although I guess if you're flying private, it's a little bit easier. You can fly straight into Green Bay. But still, that's a tough one. But then you get a mini bye. And the thing is about an early season bye or early mini bye is it actually is better for the players than you think. That there is a little bit of time off before the season in that week before, where you have the end of preseason and then into training camp, or the end of training camp and then into the regular season. But I remember talking to Lorenzo about this when he was still playing. Lorenzo as in Lorenzo Alexander. And Zoe was like, man, training camp is such a beating. And you start in late July. And so by the time you get to week 4, that's actually kind of the halfway point of the season almost. Because you've had 6 weeks of training camp. And so it stretches a little bit now the way things go with the 18-week season. You're going into mid-January, and obviously if you make the playoffs, that becomes more of a third point than a halfway point. But having like a week 6 bye, players love that. Yeah, it's a long grind when you get back, but you've been going basically nonstop since training camp. So having week 2 be Thursday night, a little bit of a reprieve, and then a home game, that extra couple days off goes a long way. Love that. At Atlanta's a quick, easy trip, and then you're at LA, but then you're home and you have an extra day to recover after facing the Bears. At Dallas, at Kansas City, that's definitely the toughest road trip. You got back-to-back halfway across the country, like 3+ hour flights back-to-back. And obviously one of them is a Monday nighter, so it's kind of a weird travel, whatever. You get back, you're Sunday night against the Seahawks, home again the following week. Then you got the Madrid thing. But so you got back-to-back at home before you go to Madrid, and then you have a bye on the back end. That's primo. I really do wonder if they will will they set something up to let the guys stay in Madrid for a couple days?
Like after the fact?
Yeah. Because, it's a business trip for most of it. Yeah, they do some activations. They do some stuff. But, if I was Dan Quinn, I would at least ask the question. Be like, hey, guys, do you want to try to stay in Madrid for 3 days as a team? Let's do some fun stuff. Team plane leaves on Tuesday. You got Monday to do whatever you want in Madrid.
Yeah. And I would imagine a lot of players probably want to bring their family over there.
Totally.
You don't just
some guys go on European vacation. And hey, if you want to then take a plane, your own, not private jet. I mean, some guys might do a net jet situation. No player, players can afford private jets on a net jet. Nobody's got their own jet. That's a different level of money. But if they want to just go to the airport and fly to London or fly to Paris or whatever, you're already close. See y'all, come back by Friday, get readjusted, and then get back your mind right for the season. But that's awesome that they have the bye after Madrid. And by the way, it's also awesome for fans that want to go. You go late in the week, go to the game on Sunday, and then, you want to spend a couple days pre-holiday trip. Not a bad deal. Might be speaking for myself.
Nah, I think you're speaking for a lot of people out there.
I know. I also halfway through that talking point realized that other people don't get bye weeks from work. Not that we get a bye week, we're still on the air, but it's a lot easier for me to ask a day or two off in that range when it's a bye week. All right, Broncos, Sunday Night Football, week 13. Then you got at Vikings, which is a fine trip. But here's the thing. After week 14 and the Vikings, at Giants, hour flight, at Eagles to close the season, the shortest trip that's on the calendar, and then 2 home games in between. Late in the season, they don't really have to do these oh God, we got to get on a plane. And it's beautiful in LA in December. I will say, when I was on the beat, we had that one year. Oh my God, I was so happy to be in LA in December because it was 70 degrees and it literally was a winter storm warning. I think I left a day early to make sure that I could get to LA because we had a winter storm warning in DC. But if you're a football player and your body's beaten to hell by the course of an NFL season, not having to get on a long plane flight and you're just hey, quick trip to New York, quick trip to Philly. Maybe even they take the train for the Philly trip. They've done that kind of thing before. That's winning right there in terms of your schedule. Yeah, the opponents are brutal. Closing with that many divisional games, to just get the adrenaline up and to get going every single week like that on repeat for the end of a season, that's gonna be tough. But from a travel standpoint, I think they actually kind of hit the lottery with how this thing played out.
Yeah, and I think the first half of the season isn't that bad. I don't know. I think the way it's balanced, I think I would be interested to see, the miles that they end up adding up. Because I know it was one year we had the least traveled mileage or something like that.
I think it was last year.
Oh, it might have been last year.
It barely moved. I mean, sometimes that just depends on the division you play, right? This year they're playing the AFC West. They're not going to have the lightest travel schedule in the world. You're an East Coast team and you got to go to LA and you have to go to Kansas City.
Yeah.
Those trips require some mileage. Minnesota, Green Bay, limited amount of mileage. But if you get, I remember one year when I was on the beat, that year that we went, I was just talking about going to LA. It was either 2018 or 2019. Dude, it was AFC and NFC West. We went to LA twice. Actually, no, it was 2017. It was the year that Sean took over in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Week 2 played at LA at the Coliseum, and then was back in this is before obviously SoFi opened. We were, what is that stadium called? So the soccer stadium, 25,000 people that like LAFC plays at, or the LA Galaxy play at out in San Diego or out in LA. So that was a weird bit to be like, oh, we're at a 25,000 seat soccer stadium watching NFL football. View was great from the press box. Felt like I was watching really high quality all 22 film. One of my favorite press boxes ever. Wow. But yeah, that was a wacky bit. All right, there's the schedule, the whole darn thing. If you want to see the graphic, we got it up on YouTube. Again, this is courtesy of ProGrid's reporting. So if anything's wrong, blame us because we should have waited for more reliable sources and official words. That's called taking accountability, Anthony.
I like the way you think, Craig.
That's how we do it on this show.
Yes, sir.
All right, when we get back, your calls 301-230-0980. Your thoughts on the Commanders' schedule 301-230-0980. It's the Hoffman Show on the Team 980 and always live on the free Odyssey app. Commander's schedule is out. We'll take your calls on it, 301-230-0980. I did want to do one other thing, though, today, because yesterday got really sad news, and I didn't get a chance to just slip my mind during the show yesterday. I posted a little bit on social media about it. But one of the great treasures of DC sports passed away this week, and the news kind of made its way into the media yesterday. I first saw it from Chick Hernandez, but I saw Chris Miller share a really nice post. Walter Wiggins passed away, and you might not know the name Walter Wiggins, but if you have gone to a Wizards game in the last 2, 3, 4 decades, you have seen Walter Wiggins. He's also was a huge Commanders fan and was at Northwest Stadium, FedEx Field, whatever you want to call it. Was back at RFK back in the day. He was the pump it up guy, and I never knew his story and always kind of wondered, and I always meant to kind of look it up, and unfortunately, after he passed yesterday, I found an old article in Washington City paper about him, and he was just there wasn't really much to the story. He's just a super dedicated fan who's been going to games forever, who is incredibly positive and enthusiastic about his teams, and always kind of was looking forward to next year. Unfortunately, the way that most of his years were spent as a fan of those two particular teams, and just could be relied upon to, hey, let's get the crowd going. They put him up on the big screen, or even if he wasn't on the big screen, he didn't care. He's just out there doing the pump it up, and it always infectious. And there's not any grandiose thing to say here. There's nothing more just to acknowledge and hat tip one of the great fans in DC sports, and someone who developed authentically a character at games. I think that there are some fans that try to become the center of attention. Some succeed, some don't. But his was so authentic, and it wasn't about anything other than having a good time, supporting his teams, and making sure other people had a good time too, and we're being supportive of the players that he wanted to see succeed. So best to Walter Wiggins' family, to his anyone that knew him, friends, people like Chris Miller, who have been around the Wizards for a long, long time and knew him. But just tremendously sad news that Walter Wiggins passed away, a.k.a. the pump it up guy. I believe Walter was 76 years old, and someone who had been going to games literally since the Washington Bullets won the championship in 1978. All right. No easy transition out of that. Just, again, a hat tip, a salute to Walter, and best to his family. Commander's schedule, again, is out. Real quick to run through it to give everybody who is just tuning in an idea of what we're dealing with here. The Giants, Week 1, Packers, Week 2, Raiders, Falcons, Chargers, Bears, Cowboys, Chiefs, Seahawks. That gets us to Week 9. Week 10, Detroit Lions. Week 11, Dolphins in Madrid, followed by a bye on the back end of Madrid. Week 13, Broncos. 14, Vikings. 15, Giants. 16, Eagles on a Saturday. Week 17 is Christmas against the Cowboys. Week 18 at Philadelphia. In total, 5 primetime games, 8 standalone games. Let's talk about it with you on the phones at 301-230-0980. Our guy Ford chiming in. Ford, what's up, man? How you doing? Thanks for calling. You're back on the Hoffman Show.
Craig, Anthony, how are you guys?
Doing well, Ford. Doing well. Thanks, buddy.
Good. Hey, just a couple things. I think, given the degree of difficulty of the schedule, I think it's mapped out pretty well, and I think you've covered that from a travel standpoint and the mini bye being early. I just wanted to point out a couple of things, in my opinion. One thing is that the amount of primetime games, 5, right, the Sunday night, Monday, and Thursday, we're hosting 3 of the 5, plus we're hosting Christmas Day. So I think, that's a clear sign that it's a Jaden effect, right? It's it's just Washington is back. And you could even throw in the RFK thing and the draft, and now the amount of times they're going to be seeing Jaden and the Commanders. It's really an amazing turnaround for us. And my comments about the schedule, the difficulty or the interesting thing, one is difficulty is weeks 4 through 8. Looks like 4 out of 5 are on the road. That's usually pretty tough. then it's interesting being a Washington fan. Look at weeks 5 through 13. There's not a 1 o'clock game on the schedule. And it may even extend into week 14, So that's just new and different for us, and I think it's just something we have to get used to, but in a good way. And I'll hang up and listen to you, buddy. Thanks.
Yeah, no, appreciate the call for it. I think that's all correct. Like, we knew based off of the opponents that the schedule was going to be tough. Where the games are is a reflection of what they think of this team and what they think of the star power of it and the draw. And they're not just going to put you because, oh, hey, Washington fans are excited about Jaden Daniels. I think the league at large is excited about Jaden Daniels. As Ford said, like weeks 5 through 13, there's no 1 o'clock games on the schedule. I haven't seen officially that Dallas week 7 and Detroit week 10 are 4 o'clock games, but like use our heads. Those games are going to be 4 o'clock games, or they're going to have to get flexed out because something funky has happened with those teams, and there's another more interesting game that's going to get flexed into that national TV window. But, Washington, Dallas, when they're bad, they can be in that 4 o'clock window. With the playoff rematch being what it is last year from the divisional round and these being two top NFC teams, week 10, yeah, that's going to wind up being a 4 o'clock game. So on our little graphic here, I have it as 1/4, but that's only like that's intellectually knowing that it's going to wind up being 4 o'clock. And that is pretty wild. And I'm curious to see how Dan Quinn handles it on the football side because, like we were saying earlier, Anthony, like football players are creatures of habit. And I'm sure that they will take time. Like this is the kind of thing where I just like appreciate Dan Quinn. Because I guarantee you Dan Quinn sees this schedule and goes, I'm going to make sure we spend time this spring and in training camp talking about what our weeks are going to look like when we play at 8 o'clock. And, hey, if it's on a Monday, we shift everything, and this is what our practice schedule is going to look like. On Saturday, or if we play on Saturday, this is what it's going to look like. If we play on Sunday night, this is how it's going to shift or not. And that way there's no surprises. And that lets guys say, okay, this is what I have to expect. Let me build my routine into that. And that is so incredibly important. Just take away, so much of coaching in football, in fitness, in corporate America, if you are responsible for other people as a leader, as a manager, so much of managing people is just removing obstacles out of their way for them to trip over. And I feel like if you get to week 2 and you're Thursday Night Football and you're in the Ron Rivera era or a lot of other NFL coaches, it's we'll deal with it when they get there. And Dan Quinn will be like, yeah, we talked about it in May and we talked about it again in August. And so we're ready for this. And this is how we're going to handle it. And the players have known. Because they're adults. They can look more than 3 inches in front of their faces. Yes, you have to be able to focus on the task ahead. But knowing what's coming and not having surprises is also a really good way to be successful. And that's what I have to say about that.
No, I would agree. And it's the little things, like whether or not you eat that day. Like having a game at 1, some players don't eat. But if you plan at 8:20 or, 4:25, that, messes with your whole, diet.
Do you remember who told us that he didn't eat before games?
I don't.
Vince Wilfork. Which
really?
was the funniest thing. Yeah, when we had Vince on Super Bowl week this year, he was doing a thing on behalf of something. I think it was Tums, because it was we got to talk about food and football, and I remember the email being like, "Do you want to talk about food and football with Vince Wilfork?" And I was like, "Is grass green?"
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, and he wanted to feel hungry as a player, symbolically, and so he didn't eat before games, including night games.
That's insane.
Yeah. Not what the nutritionist would recommend. But by the time he got later in his career and the nutritionist was like, Vince, this is not the optimal way. He's like, I'm me, and I've been playing at a Pro Bowl level for 10 years. Leave me alone. And that's the correct thing. No, there's only, it's like I think about this a lot. We're now on a tangent, but have you listened to the show? Michael Jordan's sleep habits are insulting. He would smoke cigars, drink, get 4 hours of sleep, and drop 48 in a playoff game. And there's part of me, the science part of me, the nerd part of me is Could he have dropped 60 if he had good sleep hygiene and like respected his body? But like at some point you just go, that dude's a freak. I don't know how he does that. He's not like the rest of us. But what am I going to do? Make Michael Jordan better? No. So Vince Wilfork, not allowed to eat before games. Make your kid have a peanut butter sandwich. All right, when we get back, Josh Connerly playing guard. That very idea makes some people very upset. It shouldn't. Logan Paulson will explain to you why next. It's the Hoffman Show. We're on the Team 980. We are always live as well on the free Odyssey app. It's our final hour. We're also streaming on YouTube, too, at the Team 980. So the Commanders took Josh Connerly last month in the NFL draft with a first-round pick at pick 29 with the intention that he is going to play offensive tackle, presumably. Hopefully, he'll win the job at right tackle, and who knows, maybe 3-4 years from now when Laramie Tunsil's on the way out, he slides over to left tackle and goes back to where he was in college. But when Todd McShay mentioned on our show in the days after the draft that he could see him playing guard at least to start and then kicking out to tackle eventually to replace Tunsil, people freaked out. And so I wanted to bring that to Logan Paulson and see what Logan, a guy who played 10 years in the NFL, is a glorified sixth offensive lineman in a lot of those years. He was a blocking tight end who was brought in to do offensive lineman-y stuff. And as someone who coaches NFL offensive linemen now and knows more about blocking than I will forget in my entire silly life, what he thought of that. And I think the answer is really, really, really enlightening. So, without further ado, here's that conversation from Take Command. Take Command. I'm Craig Hoffman. He's Logan Paulson. Mailbag time. That's what we do early in the week. You can get your questions in at hoffmanshow.com. You use the contact link, type in your question, then the best ones, the most relevant ones, they make the air. Also, hit us on Instagram.sports and at Logan_Paulson82. And Logan, this one came from our guy. You've gotten versions of this in our YouTube comments as well, and comments, TikTok comments, especially in response to my chat with Todd McShay. Todd said, hey, Connerly might play guard this year. And I don't know how locked in Todd was on kind of the plan here versus kind of what he thought possible. But people freaked out. People were like, oh, my God, how could they say that? And even asked, I thought, what was a good version of the question that will allow us to have what is an important conversation about the Commanders' first-round pick. A question about Josh Connerly, position he's most likely to play this year and beyond. I'd be surprised if he isn't their right tackle, but I've heard several analysts that I respect think of a guard. I know you and Logan have broken Connerly down extensively, but I have a question about this that I don't know if I've heard addressed yet. If Connerly's perceived weakness right now, play strength, why would that be better at guard? Intuitively, I'd rather have him blocking 260 to 280-pound edge rushers or someone lighter like Micah Parsons than someone like Dexter Lawrence or other big, strong guys in the middle. If strength is an issue, if you guys can shed light on this, that'd be great. Thanks, Stephen.
That's a really good question, and I think it brings up interesting kind of thought experiments, thought processes, what it means to play offensive line in the NFL. So I'll start with the first part, which is play strength, and play strength at guard and play strength at tackle. And I think there's this conception or perception that you have to be really strong guard, and that's true to a certain extent. I think you think about your Larry Allens, for example, like these just bears of men who are just incredibly powerful. But the thing about guards that I think people often overlook is their foot quickness, right? So they tend to be really kind of twitched up. And if you are a twitched up athletic guard, you can get to the spot before those big guys. So in the run game specifically, it can be very, very helpful. Also, remember that when you're at guard, there's less space. You're not as far from the rusher. So usually if I can be quick out of my stance, kind of explode out of my stance, get to my spot, get hands on, I can stop the car starts running in a way that I can't do at tackle. So I do think that you can actually get away with being quite as strong at guard. And obviously this is very system dependent. If you're in a heavy gap scheme, kind of, we got to move this guy vertically off the spot. Think, the LA Rams, they got a bunch of big offensive linemen, guys that are all over 330. Part of that is because they run a lot of tight zone. They run a lot of gaps, run a lot of duo. That shows up, right? You got to be able to kind of move the dudes off the spot. However, I've had a lot of in my career with guards that are just quick. They're just really quick, and it allows them to cover up their play strength because those of tackles oftentimes are so reliant on being big and strong that they can't move as well. So you can put yourself in position to kind of win that. So again, like a situation with Connerly, like obviously I think his long-term home, whether it's next year or not, is going to be right tackle for this team. But if he does play guard, it might even cover up a little bit of the play strength. As long as you can stay balanced and as long as you be quick-footed, use your length. He has and he can do. So I think that's where I'd say, like, I always think of it, oh, guards need to be big and kind of lumbering. The reason people do prioritize tackle, and this is again kind of going back to the earlier question, is because it's just harder to find the body type. It's harder to find these body types, and people say you got to be tall and you got to be a basketball player, but you got to be super strong, and you got to be really, really strong at tackle because there's a longer runway, right? Like these bigger rushers like Rashad Gary, Myles Garrett, they can generate a ton of force, right? Because what's force? It's mass acceleration. So they have a longer runway to accelerate into contact. So you have to be really good with your hips and sinking contact. You have to be really good with the timing of your punch. And that's why it's really hard, I think, to find a premium or a starting caliber right or left tackle in the NFL than it is to find a guard. I think it's just the nature of the phone booth of the position makes it a little bit easier. So I don't know if that answers the question. I think I touched on most of the points there.
No, I think the play strength thing, that's the one where like your insight as someone who played the game and offensive lineman and like understands that is different, because I think it makes it like, okay, would you rather have a strong guy block Dexter Lawrence or Micah Parsons? And it's like, Dexter Lawrence. And it's like, actually, Micah Parsons has a 4-yard head start and Dexter Lawrence has to go right now, which is why some of these really quick interior players who are explosive right now, Aaron Donald, Dexter Lawrence, et cetera, are the best interior pass rushers, is because they can generate that power immediately. Jalen Carter can generate, not only are they quick enough to get around guys, but they can generate that power immediately because of how twitched up they are on the inside, versus why would have Haloti Ngata not been the greatest sack man in the history of the NFL? Because he's so damn strong, because his strength was used in other ways to be a highly effective borderline Hall of Fame level football player, but it wasn't pass rush. And there's a reason for that. I think the other part of this question, though, the guard tackle and like hearing some of the commentary, especially after I had McShay on last week, and he said is likely outcome is Josh Connerly is going to start at right tackle and Brandon Coleman's going to start at left guard. I think that's the leader in the clubhouse. That's the odds-on favorite, whichever you want to use. But it's not set in stone, and it could go the other way. And I think people need to accept that and be okay with that and be fine with that, because one, the long-term plan, you don't do long-term in the NFL very much. Like, of course, some long-term planning that happens, but this is such a year league that if Josh Connerly plays guard this year or even the next couple of years, and then, you know, you try him at tackle, if he's an all-pro guard, maybe just leave him at guard long-term. Sweet, we got an all-pro. But when Tunsil retires or moves on, you kick him outside. Okay, that could work. But like trying to figure that out now and saying like, what's the best thing for 3 years from now is how coaches get fired in this league. It's how you see your results get worse in this league. And so what they're going to do is they're going to let him probably take early. My guess is because he's the veteran and the Riley will get the first snap at right tackle in OTAs. We'll see what happens by training. But for no other reason other than seniority. And that's kind of how the league, how they want to build the program in terms of competition, is like, hey, that's our guy, go beat him. And there's a really great chance that Josh Connerly or Brandon could do that. And Connerly may be a second string right tackle on day one of camp. And then day two, maybe he's the string left guard. And then he goes back. And they're going to take time to teach those guys multiple positions and then ultimately let them compete. And the best man will win. Is my prediction that Connerly will win right tackle and Coleman will win left guard, and that some combination of Wiley and Alquan competing for Cosme's place until he gets back at right guard? Yes. But it could go another way, and accepting that it could go another way is fine. And I get the kind of the vitriol towards anyone who doesn't he's the starting tackle, but I think you'll be a much happier person who won't have some reaction to the concept.
I think it's important to also understand, like, to this point, is that the NFL game is different than the game. The rushers are different. They're stronger, they're better, they're faster. And so even though he has all the skill set to play right tackle or like on paper, like, it might not work out for him. You know, I talked about Brandon Sheriff. Like, on paper, like, he had all the things you needed. He was very athletic. He had good lateral movement. It just didn't jive for him. And I remember talking to him. It was probably his second year. And I said, how do you like guard? He said, oh, I love it. I just love it so much more because there's less space. I can just use what I'm good at, my quickness, my athleticism, my power to get guys in the spot. And I think that's where like this is like he might not be able to handle variety of moves he sees on the edge. He just might go, hey.
And if Brandon Coleman can, then he can be a guard and let tackle.
And it solves the problem, right? Because you get better athletes at multiple spots. And again, like I said, I ultimately think Connerly will probably start at right tackle, long term at some team. But don't sleep on Brandon Coleman either. He has sub 5 flat 40. He has 35-inch arms. But when you look at who's got more tackling measurements, I know Brandon Coleman's got this kind of guard, kind of bulky body, but who looks at tackle, like they both have these crazy tackle measurements. So, and I think that's one of the things I look back on last year. Great job by this staff of kind of finding a guy that can do that for you. So don't sleep on him, right? Don't sleep on whatever amalgamation is the best, right? And I think it's okay also if he doesn't start week 1. I think also something fans need to be okay with, because as much as I like the prospect, as much as I enjoy watching his film, as much as I enjoy thinking about the ceiling of the player, it's hard for guys when they come to the NFL. It's a different from experience. Like, you don't see the type of athletes you see in the NFL every week once. Even if you go to a big school, even if you go to LSU, those dudes, those top flight, Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, like there's a guy on team that you're like, oh,
Connerly saw Abdul Carter once.
Yes. And he did a good job, but like he saw him once, right? And I think that's a great iteration of kind of how different the landscape is for pass protectors. And even in the run game, like you got to deal with just a different animal. Like it's crazy taking a college defensive end that I do study and evaluation and then bring them to the NFL, because all the stuff that they do in college doesn't work. The tackles are too big, they're too long, they're too locked in on the technique. Even bad ones in the NFL are good compared to college offensive linemen. And I think that's just something you have to understand. Like it's not going to be a easy transition. I mean, it could be, right? It would be great, but there are obstacles in the way of this. And I think, that's why you say, oh, he's wired the right way, that he's going to get better. All those things are true, but you want that 5 on the field. I think it was ultimately what I come down on, because it's not always as seamless as it seems on paper.
For sure. There's a clip that was going viral last week from the podcast 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, which is Carmelo Anthony's, and they had Malik Neighbors on. And they asked Malik, like, hey, what's the difference between college and the NFL? And he goes, I don't want to say college was easy, because it wasn't. Like LSU, the SEC, whatever. But like the NFL, every dude is just that. Like you got, they were having a good chuckle about, like, you got dudes in you got corners wearing 37. That dude's still getting after it, because he's he's just trying to play for his job, play for his family, and he's really good. He's like, I catch a screen pass, and in college I could cut that thing back inside. Now I got these defensive ends coming out trying to kill me. He's like, I caught balls, and it's funny because on this one I think he's thinking of Frankie Louvu hit that he took in the early season. Was it like week 2, week 3 last year? And he's like, I caught balls in area field, and it's like, I'm gonna get it, and then I would just get blasted from nowhere, and like that's the NFL, because every dude is a freaking dude.
It's different, man. Like a lot of college film for these college guys, right? And, like when I'm doing the breakdown for the draft, and it's you'll see a play like Tyler Warren, right? And I saw him run this route and like jump up and catch the ball of this guy. I'm like, in the NFL, there's no way that happens. There's no way that happens. And it's a great college play. It's awesome to watch. But that dude in the NFL is not going to let you do that to him. He's going to out of your ass. He's going to be way more physical than you think. And it doesn't play, right? Even bad pass sets, like when you're watching pass sets or something, no way an NFL rusher let away with this kind of error. So understanding that it's a different, the volumes turn to 11, and that transition, I think a lot of people say, oh, he's for sure gonna be the right tackle, and that's okay. You got a good athletic dude who's got some growth potential on your team. Play guard, play tackle. It makes you better. I think that's the thing that fans should focus on, is his addition makes you better because it gives you flexibility. Because think about last year, right? Like I thought those 5 dudes played their absolute faces off. Like they were punching above their weight class every single week. Kudos to that group. Even the hint of an injury, the group kind of fell apart. Now you've got some depth across the board. So even if he's just a depth piece, I know that's not ideal, him being the 29th overall pick. You want him to be he is contributing to making your team better. And I think that's important to keep in mind here as well.
For sure. And, by getting like Tunsil, like it you not have to chip as much. Like there's a bunch of trickle downs to the offense. In review, we don't want a million comments being like, you guys suck. He's going to play right tackle. We don't know yet. And it's okay to say we don't know yet. He's probably going to play right tackle. That's our odds on favorite. But we'll see. The most exciting words in football podcasting. We'll see. All right, if you want more from me and Logan, check out Take Command wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget, tomorrow, Logan and I will break down the Commanders' schedule. And we'll talk to Mina Kimes. ESPN's Mina Kimes joins us tomorrow on Take Command. That'll be in your feeds by tomorrow afternoon. So check that out wherever you get your podcasts. Coming up at 6:30, you will hear from Sonia Citron, Mystics' third overall pick in the 2025 WNBA draft. We'll run back through the Commander's schedule for those of you just tuning in next. But first, the latest in the world of women's sports, presented to you by Wawa. Chicken how you want it. Wawa with customizable roasted or crispy chicken sandwiches. It's Hoffman Show. We're on the Team 980, always live as well on the free Odyssey app. For full reaction to the Commanders' schedule tonight, you're going to want to check out Linnell Willingham, 7 o'clock. He's all the way till 10 live here on the Team 980. A special edition of Overtime and the NFL schedule release show officially comes out in the 8 o'clock hour. But we do know the full schedule. It has been reported for the Commanders, so here we go. Giants week 1 at home, week 2 Packers at the Packers Thursday night football. So you get a quick primetime game, quick Thursday nighter, which is honestly the best time to have a Thursday nighter is as early as possible. Raiders at home then in week 3. Falcons on the road in week 4, Chargers on the road in week 5. This is a pretty tough stretch, 4 of 5 on the road. The lone home game, week 6, Monday Night Football against the Chicago Bears, rematch of the Hail Mary game. Week 7 at Dallas, week 8, Monday Night Football again, second time in 3 weeks. You'll this time be in Kansas City against the Chiefs. Week 9, Seahawks, Sunday Night Football. So 3 of 4 primetime games, Monday night, Dallas, which will probably be a 4-o'clocker. Monday night again, and then Sunday night against the Seahawks. Week 10 is against the Detroit Lions at home, and then it's off to Madrid, week 11, to face the Dolphins. Bye week is week 12. Week 13, Broncos at home against Sunday Night Football. Then finally, you might have a 1 o'clock game against the Vikings at Minnesota. Week 14, week 15 at the Giants. Week 16 against the Eagles. 17, Cowboys on Christmas Day. 1 o'clock, first of the NFL's Christmas Day triple header. The first 2 games on Netflix. Lions and Vikings are the second Netflix game. Week 18 at Philadelphia. So yes, 2 of the final 3 games are against the Eagles. Yikes. That's tough, as you might say. All right, that's what we know so far, which is the whole thing. It's just presuming that it's right. Hear it officially. Make sure that we got it all right tonight with Linnell coming up at 7:30. At 7, I should say. Next, we continue our Mystics celebration. It's opening week for the Sticks. Sonia Citron and I sat down at Mystics Media Day. Really, really good chat with the 3rd overall pick in the WNBA draft that you'll hear next here on the Team 980.
It was never crickets. They
Never.
just put that in the video.
That was creative editing.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll take it because it was a nicely done video. But
Yeah. It was funny, but like Notre Dame social team. Why'd you have to do her like that? In 3, 2, and 1. Mystics Media Day continues with Sonia Citron. Sony, good to see you.
good to see you.
So I'm going to start with the fun stuff because I talked to Coach Ivy, and we talked about how much she loves you as a basketball player, and we talked about all the basketball stuff, and we'll do a bunch of basketball in a second. But I did have to ask her about the orange carpet because you were ranked very highly on all of the lists, and I was like, Coach, like you're pretty fashionable. Like, did you know Sony had it like that? And she goes, Nope, didn't know. She was out there looking like an quote unquote an Italian Vogue model. Why were you holding out on Coach Ivy like that? What was up with that, Sony?
I didn't even know I had it in me either. So I wasn't. Yeah, I just.
Was it fun? Like
It
to
was
be like
fun,
like
but
when you
it's-
see yourself in the mirror for the
Yeah.
first time, you're like, oh, look
yeah,
at me.
Yeah, no, it was definitely very fun, but not something I can do regularly.
So, so folks like tunnel fits
Yes.
take the expectations down.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
I'm gonna try with the tunnel fits. You know, it might not be. I can tell you, it won't be every game, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to sprinkle some
Sprinkle
in
it
here
in.
and there.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, it was really really fun that day. I don't think I had ever like done a full glam like that, like makeup, hair, had it done for like I don't think I had ever done that. So doing that was definitely a lot of fun, and then getting to work with Coach and have them do the blazer and the suit. It was fun because I had never really done it before. But it was definitely like after that I was like I'm good for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, like makeup, hair, all that. But then here I am today with
Yeah,
a
this
little
is
bit
much
of-
more your vibe.
Yeah,
Just
just more
chill.
casual.
I
Yes,
feel
more
you.
chill.
I
Yeah.
feel you. Every once in a while it's fun, but eventually it's just like I'm a hooper.
Tiring.
Like put me in some
Yeah,
sweatpants.
I know. Yep.
Feel that. All right, let's talk some hoops. Yesterday was day 1 of training camp. How did it feel going through your first WNBA practice? Was it
Yeah.
what you expected? Different?
Yeah. I would say it was what I actually no. I didn't have any expectations.
Okay.
So I didn't like it was good. You know.
just went in
It
with open
was-
eyes.
Yes. It was very fun. It was exciting just getting to play with new people, play with a new team, and finally feel like it's starting, like it's officially starting. So that was really exciting. But yeah, I didn't really have any expectations. I wanted to go in with an open mind and not really predetermine what I thought was going to happen, so I wasn't surprised. So yeah, it was cool.
You're someone who Coach Ivy called the glue of that Notre Dame team. Yet I also saw when they had you mic'd up that they were like literally begging you to speak so that they don't have the just silence and
crickets.
video and running around, and you gave it your best. You did a great job.
Yeah, I do have something to say about that
Okay,
because
by all means.
yes, they tried to play me, and it was never crickets that entire practice because I don't think I had ever talked more than I ever did that practice. Because Coach Ivy was doing something where like each practice she would choose one person to have to talk the most, and I think I'm a pretty humble person, but I definitely did it the best.
Okay.
I think I really I was out of breath how much I was yelling, which is a lot for me. I realize how tiring it is to actually talk
Yeah,
consistently.
talking's exhausting. I mean,
while you're running and playing and defending.
okay. Normally I just sit in a chair and talk, but that's fine.
But yeah, it was never crickets. They
Never.
just put that in the video.
That was creative editing.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll take it because it was a nicely done video. But
Yeah. It was funny, but like Notre Dame social team. Why'd you have to do her like that? The reason I bring that up though is like you're not the most vocal person except for that
Yes.
day. But you
I agree
certainly
with that.
are. You're certainly a leader. So how do you think about leadership and especially coming into it? You know, it's so funny when you go from college to pro. It's like you go from being the older veteran player, the glue,
Yeah.
to being like, oh my God, I'm the rookie. How do I fit in? And obviously you do the same thing in high school to college. So it's
Yeah.
not like this is new. But how do you think about leadership and you know upholding your standard and starting to emerge, knowing that it is a new team and a new environment for you?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think it's going to take a while to get used to. I'm not like coming in here thinking, oh, you know, like this is my, like I'm kind of, again, coming in with an open mind, knowing that we have amazing vets on our team that I'm really looking after and trying to learn from them, and they do an amazing job at really like taking us under their wing and really sharing their experience and their knowledge. So we already have amazing leaders, and honestly just trying to not replicate that, but trying to model myself after what I see, because from what I've seen, again, they're amazing. And like you said, I'm not the most vocal person, so it's kind of just I try to lead in how I do things, you know, like again, I'm not gonna be the loudest one ever. That's not me. I don't even think I'm physically capable. Like my voice is just like doesn't get loud. Yeah, it doesn't carry at all. But just in the way that I do things, I want my team to know that when I play, like you can tell, oh, she's really working hard. Like, oh, she's really like she'll always give us 100%, and that's kind of the way that I want to lead, even if it's not in a typical leader manner, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like just
by example,
again,
or
just by
side
example, and
conversations.
knowing that like, oh, Sonia's very perceptive. She's gonna take what we say. She's gonna listen. She's gonna, you know, like, again, just work hard and give them everything that I have. So it's not really like I'm coming in thinking, how can I lead this team? Because again, we have amazing coaches, amazing vets. So I'm just kind of like trying to take on the role that, as the rookie, you know, take that role on and do it as best as I can.
That's a great answer. And that's I was curious, because you have that role shift, and like, what do you think about it? But the open mind, the perceptiveness, I can see that in the way you answer questions too. Slim in particular is someone I'm assuming that you're trying to latch onto, just be a sponge. Very similar play styles from what I know of your game, what I know of her game. What are some conversations you've had with her? What are some conversations you want to have with her?
Yeah. I mean, I want to have a bunch of conversations with her.
I think last year, by the way, at Media Day, we just talked like principles and strategies of defense for like 10 minutes, and it was one of the coolest basketball conversations I've ever had. So steal that one. Do that.
Oh, yes, I definitely plan to. She's already helped me so much, just day to day. Like, you can just tell she really takes time to look after her teammates. Like, she's really helped me with a bunch of things where I didn't even realize I was doing something wrong, and she'll like come to the side, pull me aside, or she'll like tell me to come over and like really explain what I should be doing, what I didn't do, like, but all in a very, not a gracious way, but like it's not like she's yelling at me. Like, she's really trying to teach me so I understand what I'm doing, not just tell me to do something, like understand the why part of it, which I think is really cool. But I think everybody knows she's an amazing defender, amazing player, but very, very good defender. And as someone who wants to be a good defender, and I had that role in college, but the W is a lot different. Like, these players are a different caliber, obviously. So I'm really trying to take in everything I can with her as a defender, you know, like. And yesterday, the first day of training camp, we were doing defensive breakdowns, and we were in the same group, and I was just asking questions. She was, if I did something wrong, again, didn't even realize, she would like stop the drill and tell me, oh no, you need to be, you know what I mean, just coaching me up, and I'll take that all day, every day, you know. Like, I want to learn, I want to be a sponge, knowing that as a rookie I don't really know anything, you know, like going into it thinking I don't know anything about this league, because I don't. And again, just being a sponge, especially with players like Slim, like you said.
For sure. All right, I got two questions to wrap up here. Two fun ones that we're asking everybody today. Your jersey number. What's the story behind it?
So 22. Well, I was 11 in college. I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep it or not, but they didn't have it anyway, so it kind of worked out.
I think Elena was probably going to have that one hanging up there somewhere.
Yes, exactly. So very understandable. I wasn't mad at all, because I kind of wanted to maybe choose a new number, because it's like a new journey, you know, new chapter. And 22 was open, and 22 is me and my brother's number. Like,
oh, that's cool.
We were both born on the 22nd. Like, I have it tattooed on my leg, because that's just, I'm really close with him. He's been a role model for me my whole life. And so it's just our number. Like, I love 22.
That's good enough for me.
I was born on the 22nd,
there you go. What month?
It was open, October.
Okay. I'm a 23rd, but February. So
Okay.
there you go. But remember that. All right.
Yeah.
Put that one in the calendar. Happy
Yeah.
birthday, Sonia Citron.
Yeah, so
on
it's
October
it.
22nd. And then the last other one. Here's the one. Aaliyah was like, "Oh, I can't believe you just asked me this." If you could have anybody that doesn't sponsor you right now sponsor you, like you could just be like,
Yeah.
"I have a brand deal with that company." Who would it be? Trying to move some product for y'all today.
Yeah, for real. Thank you. I have two answers.
Okay.
One, an espresso machine company.
Ooh. What's your
As-
coffee order? That
Just
was
a
one of our
latte.
questions
Yeah.
last year.
I love a latte. When I go to coffee shops, I like a bunch of different syrups and flavors, but I like to ask that coffee shop, like, what's your most popular
Ooh.
flavor? Because I want
I like
to,
that. Yeah.
you know what I
Experience
mean?
it.
Exactly. Like, if that's the most popular, obviously people think it's good. So
Yeah.
I like to do that. But yeah, an espresso. I really want an espresso machine.
Okay.
So I think it would be cool to have a deal. You know, they're pretty expensive, so
yeah.
it would work.
All right. I feel like
but-
someone's got to get on that.
yeah, but I haven't really done my research on like which is the best one, so I have to do that. So I can't tell you an exact brand yet.
That's why. Hey, now we got a bidding war. That's good business right there.
And then the second answer is popcorn. I'm obsessed with popcorn,
Okay.
and I have a popcorn machine called Whirly Pop.
Okay.
That like it's like I make the popcorn,
Yeah.
you know, on the stove, put the oil, the kernels, and I think it would be cool to do a deal with them, or like a deal with like a movie theater,
Okay.
like Cinemark, you know.
We got some entrepreneurship going on
Yeah,
up here.
something,
I like it.
you know, I got some ideas, but not specifics.
Okay.
So I got to work on that.
All right, we'll put that out to the Ethernet or the internet. See if the algorithm can get a hold of it.
Yes.
Next thing you know, it could be a coffee maker showing up for Sony
Yeah.
here. Sony, it was great to see you.
Yes,
Thank you, and
too.
best
Thank
of luck
you
this
so
season.
much. Thank you.
It's Hoffman Show. We're on the Team 980. We're always live as well on the free Odyssey app. We're streaming live on YouTube, too, at the Team 980. My hair is wild today. Anthony, we're at that point where your boy needs a haircut soon is really what it is. But, like, there's a point where I'm like, I need a haircut soon. And then it kind of settles down a little bit again. I'm like, I don't know. Should I just keep my hair long? These are the questions I face.
Hey, you're not the only person that needs a haircut. I need one really bad. I need a shape up. I look crazy.
Yeah, so I just got the hat on. But, like, I had hair sticking out the front of the hat, which is when it was on backwards, which is a real wacky look. What's Linnell saying in that?
No. Ben just said he got a fresh fade.
It's pretty fresh. Pretty nice
sir.
fade. Jersey's also older than he is.
He said your jersey's older than you are.
Yeah, probably like twice as old.
Twice? How old are you, Ben? He's 21.
He's 21?
Oh, my God.
What year? That's an 81 Art Monk? Is that what we got over there? All right, hold on. What year did Art Monk retire? First of all, Art Monk's 67 years old, so 3 times as old as you. And Art retired. Where did Art go to school, Anthony?
Come on, man. The one and only Syracuse University.
That's correct. Art did play till he was 38 years old. Retired in 1995. So it's not quite twice as old as Ben, but it's closer than I want it to be, considering what year it is, what year 1995 was, and what that means for how old I am.
Yeah, I'm not even going to say it, but Art Monk did retire.
Wait, hold on.
He retired before I was born.
We've had our guy Andrew shadowing the show today. He's still in college. Ben's 21. Linnell's sitting in that room. You're sitting in your chair. How the hell did we put together a group of people where I am the oldest one?
You're asking.
I feel like y'all did this to me on purpose. I'm on the wrong end of a bit right now, and I don't appreciate it. My name's on the show. Everyone else, get out of here. Except for you, Anthony. You're working. You have to still hit the buttons. You have to do things. Actually, the next button that gets hit is the one that I hit. So, if you want to take like a small break, I guess you can.
That's fair.
Tomorrow on the show, never read the comments. They probably right now say, I'm old. Or there's other people that are way older than me that are like, you're not old. Look at me. So those are the comments right now, probably on the YouTube stream. All in all, tomorrow, never read the comments. You also hear from Brittany Sykes if you're enjoying our Mystics interviews. And if you're not, you'll still hear from Brittany Sykes. What else we got tomorrow, Anthony?
Road trip.
Oh, we got to do our road trip draft. Very excited for that. And then we'll see what else comes out of schedule release. I feel like there's something else that I was thinking about, and I don't remember what it is. So whatever's in the mystery box of Craig's ideas tomorrow. Any other housekeeping, Anthony? Linnell's coming up at 7 live for the schedule release show. Yeah, no, 7 o'clock. You don't have to start yelling now. Save it till 7. Good gracious. Hear this man through soundproof glass and headphones. That's it, Anthony? That's all the housekeeping?
I think so.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'll hit that button now.
Real things.
We're not going to be sucked this year.
Real people.
5 and 11. Not very good.
Said into real microphones.
The culture is actually damn good.
Oh, I've been waiting to play this one for a couple of days. London Fletcher, you know him, should be in the Hall of Fame. Absolute travesty that he's not. He came up when Shaquille O'Neal asked Calvin Johnson, yes, Megatron, a question on his podcast.
Was it ever any one guy that hit you so hard it made you go, God damn, that strong?
Hell yeah. London Fletcher. London Fletcher probably he might be all 5'9", but London caught me coming across the middle one time and caught me mid-stride, so both of my feet off the ground. Dude hit me in my ribs, back ribs area. He probably hit me about 5 yards through the air, back the other way towards the line of scrimmage. And after that play, I got up, walked to the sideline. I was like, Coach, man, I think I'm done for the day. I think you got to remove my soul from my body.
If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free
Anthony,
unless they win.
We're not giving. Why'd you leave Shaq's ad in there?
Thought I cut it.
Clearly not. That's what you get for thinking. Maybe should have paid more attention in school. Speaking of our school, Carmelo Anthony, fine Syracuse alum, at Syracuse commencement this weekend. Yeah, they gave that tall fella a cap and gown and said, talk to the kids.
And I realized that I was more than just an athlete. and so are you. More than just your major, more than your resume, more than others expect you to be. You don't have to fit in a box, and I want to tell you that. You don't have to fit in a box. You can have multiple careers, you can change directions, you can evolve again and again, as long as you keep chasing what sets your soul on fire. But one thing, as you chase your dreams, don't forget where you came from.
Which, in our case, Anthony's Central New York. That's where we came from.
Yes, sir.
At least in college. Also, I gotta say, it's reassuring to hear how echoey Carmelo's speech was in the Carrier Dome, or whatever the hell they call that place now. Because I've told the story on the air before of my college commencement speech when I was at Syracuse, and how I did one of the 10 dumbest things in my life in the Friday or Saturday night prior, which was I punctured my eardrum with a Q-tip.
Good gracious.
Yeah, it didn't feel great. It hurt less than you think, but also didn't feel very good at all. And so listening to Aaron Sorkin, who gave my commencement speech, sounded very much like the other end of the phone in the Charlie Brown teacher conversation, because I had a punctured eardrum in the echoiest building you could possibly think of. So now with 2 functioning eardrums, more years than I'd like to admit later, hearing in a sound recording how echoey the Carrier Dome is makes me feel better about my college commencement. And that's how we conclude our show today. See you tomorrow. Linnell's next.